General Badewole,
Yes.
there are certain things that have built up to where we are right now. Now, the army was gaining ground. We had a few soldiers turn their weapons on their commanding officer. We've had allegations that the army is ill-equipped compared to the equipment that the insurgents are carrying. Let's weigh these two things in and look at it. How has it helped? Or is it what's part of what's dragging the Nigerian military back from winning this thing once and for all?
You know, let's take a look at the ISIS operation in Syria and in that general area. You would have seen that in certain instances, the ISIS were gaining ground, and then it took the collective decision of the United States and some Western powers to come to the aid of the government of Iraq before they could push back the ISIS. In this particular scenario, it is true that the army lost some grounds, but of course, in tactical operations, there are times when you retreat to regroup and then to carry out a launch attack. Losing the grounds. Yes.
There were issues of morale.
Yes.
Weaponry.
Yes.
Let's look at that. How did that help? Did that affect the army in any way?
Well, you know, you started by saying that some soldiers turned their weapons.
They were court-martialed
on their commander.
Yes. What could have led to that?
Yeah, you see, these are things that are normal situation in any armed forces.
Normal?
Yeah, yes, they're normal.
General, are you saying it's normal for...
No, let me explain. I mean, you expect that certain things will go wrong. That is why you have provisions relating to offense and punishment. Mutiny, awo, malingering, cowardice are all catered for in the Armed Forces Act. In other words, the drafters of the law envisage that situation. That's the point I'm making. That they envisage a situation where some soldiers might carry out unruly behavior. And we also have a special provision in the Armed Forces Act that talks about conduct that are prejudicial to good order and military discipline. That's what I'm saying when I say it's not uncommon for you to have some soldiers misbehaving. It doesn't happen only in Nigeria. We have seen American soldiers misbehave a lot when they were in Iraq.
We'll come back and talk more on this need for emergency. Mark may ask the question, what is the emergency about? What are we likely to achieve when we have a state of emergency? And I think we should really dwell on that when you talk about the kind of warfare we do have.
Yes.
And later on there was news of Boko Haram taking over territories belonging to Nigeria, hoisting flag. Some would argue that that went beyond asymmetric warfare. It now became a kind of a real battle. That you tell us more on that. We'll just go to the newsroom, take a moment, and we'll come back and look at all of those and see some portions of the Armed Forces Act that can also empower the military in their fight against insurgency there. Time for us to look at the news now, and I'm sure you said, well, many thanks, and now closing moments with General Badewole. Zakir Mohammed, the spokesperson for the House of Representatives, he's been speaking on this particular one, and just after they came out of that session, he did say, I'll give you a quote, he said, well, based on Honorable Leo's Ogor's motion, we have not extended the emergency rule. Rather, we have asked the President to rely on Section 8 of the Armed Forces Act, which empowers him to deploy the military to troubled spots of the country. Is that too much coming from the House of Reps, if there is a provision that also gives the President the powers to deploy troops to any troubled spot in the country?
Well, the powers conferred on Mr. President under Section 8 of the Armed Forces Act to deploy troops cannot be equated with a situation where a state of emergency is declared. Section 8 is a normal situation. It's a normal situation where public order and public safety have broken down as envisaged under Section 305. It goes beyond Section 8 of the Armed Forces Act. Extraordinary measures are required to be reining the terrorist group. And I said to you that the key to this argument is the fundamental human rights provision that are usually suspended, that allows the armed forces to speedily carry out operation. For example, under normal situation, when you arrest the suspect, within 24 hours, he must be taken to court. But under emergency situation, the law allows you to keep him for interrogation until you get the information you are looking for.
Is that why some rights group
let me finish. Let me just finish. Well, after profiling, the armed forces normally give them over to other security agencies to continue.
Like the police.
And you recall that in about 2 weeks ago, about 143 suspected Boko Haram members were released because they did not find anything against them. They were released, and they were even given some money for them to resettle. So the situation is not the same. You follow what I'm saying? A state of emergency acts like, has a multiplier effect. It allows troops to operate freely. And looking at lost territory, you have to imagine the size of Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe. Troops do not necessarily have to deploy to cover every ground. But I can also tell you that in a matter of days to come, those lost territory will be taken back by the Nigerian army.
So would it be right for us to still stay and on the argument that, well, the battle is asymmetric in nature if they've started hoisting flags?
Yeah, you have to understand the psychology of the terrorists. They want to give impression that they are in control of certain areas. But the truth of the matter is that they are not in control. They cannot match the Nigerian armed forces, weapon for weapon. They cannot. And I believe that by the time we have additional troops in those areas, those lost territories will be taken back.